Opening poulet from Breeze Palau.
E pule kako. Heavenly Father, we come before you today and we're here with humble hearts, Lord, and we just want to say thank you, mahalo, for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon each and every one of us. I thank you for bringing each and every person here today to gather together and share our mana'o and also to share aloha with one another. I ask that you be with us during this meeting, that you guide our leo, you guide our thoughts, that everything we do, everything we say be through you and what you would want to be for our island of Kauai. I thank you for all the teams that are included in this project and the love and effort that they are putting into all of this. As we finish this evening, I ask that you take each and every person here home safely and that you be the drivers of their cars or their planes and just get everybody back to where they came from safely. I say these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Mahalo, Breeze. We have a special guest here tonight to open up our meeting. I'd like to welcome Mayor Kawakami up to open the meeting. Thank you.
I'm going to be very brief, but first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that took time out of their day today to be here. And even more so for those community members that were engaged from the very beginning and every step along the way. From the bottom of our hearts, we are thankful and grateful that you folks have come together to take steps to making this 400 acres on West Kauai come to life. Believe it or not, this is my very first Waimea 400 meeting. Other than that, my role was to basically sign the check to make sure that West Kauai land stays in West Kauai hands. This is truly a community-driven project. Everything that you see up here on these boards that you'll have a chance to take a look at was driven by Waimea residents and students. The reason why I didn't get involved is I did not want to dampen the process. Anytime I walk into the room, I'm very well aware that some people may not feel as comfortable to get their ideas, and so it's with great pleasure that I finally get to come to my very first Waimea 400 meeting. We have a number of people here from our administration. If you could kindly just raise your hand. Cohen, unless you want to be fired, that means you too. All of a sudden he doesn't want to be a part of our team. But if any of you folks have any questions, feel free to ask anybody here. And once again, thank you very, very much. And thank you for leading this meeting. God bless and aloha. Is this you?
Okay, aloha and welcome everyone. My name is Mike Nishimura. I'm with Bowers & Kubota, and I'm the project manager for this phase in the project. I did want to recognize and welcome the Kauai County here as well from the Department of Public Works. And as the mayor had pointed out, we do have Troy Tanagawa here, the county engineer, Wade Lord, the program administrative officer in presence, as well as Michael Moe here from engineering. From the Department of Parks and Recreation, we have Colin De La Cruz manning one of the stations here and is looking at the sports complex portion of the project. Kauai County Housing Agency, we do have Steve Franco here in presence, as well as from the Office of Economic Development, Nikki Kunioka-Bolt back there. Thank you for coming. From the consultant team, again, I'm Mike Nishimura. We have Josh Guzman, Malachi Kushak, who's from our planning department, Tai Shiramizu, as well as Noah Tabar as well, here and helping out. From Honua, we got great support by Trisha Watson and Matt Spro here. So thank you so much for coming and helping us facilitate this event. And Lauren Roth, who is handling the wetland portion of it. So thank you for helping out on our team. Okay, a quick background on the project. So back in 2019, the county acquired the Waimea 400 property, parcel from Kikeola Land Harbor and the Faya family. And in 2020, this led to the West Kauai Community Plan, which was adopted and set long-term goals for the ultimate development of Waimea 400. Within the next year, the planning department completed the Waimea 400 conceptual master plan process with community and agency input. So the housing department then went ahead and launched the Waimea Affordable Housing Project, and their consultant and PBR team did a fantastic job. We're here to continue the progress forward from what they've started. They developed the master plan in 2023 into 2024 for roughly 60 acres of the site, which had housing components as well as community components as well. About that same time, Public Works initiated technical studies to inform and guide and update the Waimea 400 master plan. This year, in June, the housing agency completed their affordable housing master plan, and which brings us to last month, where Public Works published their EIS-PN prep notice in the environmental bulletin. And then here's today, where we have the EIS public scoping meeting. So we look forward to, and I did want to thank again the community who has been instrumental in driving the project forward and really helping us shape and mold this project, as well as the county for engaging in such a exciting project as well. I'll turn it over to Malachi.
Mahalo, Mike. We get the next slide here. So mahalo for sharing that background, Mike. I just wanted to show this slide here because I think this might be where a lot of people left off in the conceptual master plan for Waimea 400. This is the 2022 conceptual master plan that was developed with community input. And this project, and this master plan identified a few things here. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, they identified specific areas for housing and the Waimea 400 parks and some public amenities, including the sports complex area. But through the process and through extensive community feedback, it was identified that there's a lot of flooding, some concerns around drainage, and future concerns around sea level rise and some adaptation questions related to future sea level rise, climate change, and drainage in the region. So what they ended up doing is identifying 5 zones here and looking at the site, the existing flood and drainage conditions. So zone 1 is in the Makai area, which is probably most prone to flood. Zone 2 is a little bit further Mauka. Zone 3, Zone 4, and Zone 5. And this is identified really to create more flexibility in terms of what the uses and potential areas for development and mitigation measures that would be required as we update the master plan. So that brings us to our current phase, which is looking at the more western piece of the property, which the Department of Public Works is looking at updating the master plan for. The affordable housing component has been completed, as we mentioned. So the Department of Public Works is really looking at drainage and flood storage concepts, wetland restoration, agricultural areas, and then also some future land use planning in other areas for other amenities, potentially future housing. And these are things that we want to get more feedback on through this process and through our proposed action in the EIS. I also want to note that the county has some related activities that are within the Waimea 400 project, and that's why we have such an awesome team of representatives here manning the open house stations, getting some feedback. We have, of course, the Affordable Housing Master Plan, which was completed in June. The Waimea 400 park and the sports complex, which is the Department of Parks and Recreation, and then the shared use path, which runs along the highway on the Makai area of the Waimea 400 parcel between Kekaha and Waimea, which is now underway. So why are we here tonight? This is we're opening the public comment period for the environmental impact statement for Waimea 400. And this is to ensure that the long-term environmental impacts of the overall development and use of Waimea 400 are being addressed. And what we're really looking for in this meeting is to attain your feedback, the public feedback, on the proposed action, alternatives to be analyzed, and other impacts that you'd like us to address in the draft EIS. So this is the beginning of the process for the overall environmental analysis of the project. We're completing a programmatic environmental EIS under Chapter 343. And it's programmatic in the sense that this is a large project. We mentioned the other agencies involved, the other components, including affordable housing, agriculture, the sports complex. But we want to make sure that we're addressing the overall cumulative impacts, the overall impacts of the entire project sufficiently, and with the details that are available to us right now. At the bottom here, you see our project timeline, which began, as Mike pointed out, in 2024 with some additional research and studies of the project area, which informed our master plan updates. And then we moved into the environmental impact statement preparation notice, which brings us today. As we complete the process, we'll be drafting the draft EIS using and addressing the input that we received in this meeting and through the public comment period. And we'll be looking at the publication of the draft EIS in early to mid next year. Will there be another opportunity for public input? So what is the updated proposed action that we're looking at? And hopefully you had the opportunity to work through the open house and look at some of the background information here. But the updated conceptual master plan includes those areas that we mentioned that were previously planned for affordable housing, and we're looking for input on the complex for the athletic complex and the public amenities. But we also are looking at identifying specific areas for land uses that were identified in that original conceptual master plan and finding areas where they fit. So in the northern part, we have the agricultural area, northern and central. We have the wetland restoration component in the entire Makai area of the site, as well as some additional agricultural area that may be used for, more flood tolerant agriculture because of the flooding conditions. We really encourage you to work your way through the open house and provide feedback if you haven't already, because some of these things are maybe informed or changed based on the input we received tonight as we develop alternatives to be analyzed in the EIS as well. So you can take a look at it tonight, provide your feedbacks. There's also opportunities to provide feedback and input online throughout the public comment period. So I did want to zoom in on a couple of those key areas within the proposed action and proposed master plan. The first being the affordable housing. So as we mentioned multiple times, the affordable housing completed their process in June 2025. It proposes a mix of housing types and some community areas, and approximately 393 units. It also includes the proposed park and Waimea Stadium complex. The next steps for the affordable housing project, which they're completing, are some additional technical reports looking at the conditions specific to their area, the approximately 60 acres that they're looking at. They'll also be initiating a 201H application with the state for affordable housing. And then they'll also need to, once the EIS is complete, move into state land use boundary amendments, I stutter sometimes, which will also be required to change the land use from state land use from agriculture to urban. So please, if you want to learn more, you can visit the housing station back here. You can talk to Steve, but you can also visit the project website. It's hard to see on here, but it's Waimea400housing.com, where they have more information on their extensive community engagement process that they just completed. The next area that we want to zoom in on is the wetland restoration component, which is in the back of the room if you're looking at the open house. And as many of you know, this site is classified right now as a freshwater wetland. There's a high water table, and there's existing seasonal surface water and existing plantation arid ditch system that floods at certain times. what we're looking at for the proposed action is restoring the wetland as a key component for the project for around 120 acres in the Mackay area, which will help with the regional drainage, managing rainwater runoff, and also enhancing resilience to flooding in the region. In the back, we have some alternatives to consider in terms of the wetland restoration that you can provide feedback on. There's also a beautiful rendering of what the wetland restoration may look like with some of the recreational and educational amenities such as a walkway, a raised walkway, and some restored islands and wetland areas. There we go. And the last area I wanted to zoom in on was the agricultural area. So obviously, this area is known for its agricultural activity, and agriculture is planned to continue in the central and northwest regions of the site. We are looking, as I mentioned, at areas that may flood during major storms like the 100-year storm event that could handle more wet conditions. So maybe introducing flood-tolerant agriculture to that area. We're looking for feedback in that station in terms of what specific kinds of agricultural uses would be heard. And for those who were involved in the previous engagement and in the previous processes around the planning for Waimea 400, there were three main kind of agricultural uses that were brought up and preferred. The first being some larger plot commercial lots for primary agriculture, which would be leased through the county. The second is looking at smaller incubator farms or incubator lots that offer short-term access to lands, tools, trainings, and other resources to help scale and grow local farmers. And then the third is, again, that flood-tolerant area that we have identified in the middle of the site, which could include crops like kalo, rice, banana, and other things that are more flood-tolerant. Some other ideas that came up in the process you might recall were space for horses, livestock, and maybe some crop processing or value-add facilities as well. So what will the environmental impact statement look at? The environmental impact statement will evaluate the existing conditions of the site. We'll look at the potential impacts. We'll look at proposed mitigation measures. And all of these are open to feedback from all of you here today and as the process moves forward through the public comment period. What we included in the EISPN are all listed here. It ranges from land use, climate, to historic resources, archaeological resources, flora, fauna, noise, public facilities, etc. We'll also be including some discussion on the compatibility of the proposed action with state and as well as state and county plans and policies. Excuse me. So as we mentioned, beginning in 2024, we really took a deep dive into understanding more clearly some of the existing conditions and potential impacts to the site. And this began with looking at a number of different technical reports to assess those impacts and identify some appropriate mitigation measures moving forward. We included an archaeological literature review and field inspection, a cultural impact assessment, a drainage report, geotechnical study, hydrogeological study, hydrologic and hydraulic study, natural resource assessment, which is a flora and fauna survey, phase 1 environmental site assessment. We also looked at sea level rise and other hazards. Site utility assessment will be completed as we move forward with the proposed action and master plan land uses. We're also looking at, and we'll also be looking at the traffic impact analysis, cumulatively from the housing and the overall site development. We also did a wetland delineation report, which will be used to move forward with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers process for the wetland restoration. Do you have a question? No? Okay. I thought I saw a hand up. So the EISPN was published on July 23rd, and which means the public comment period is open through August 22nd. And there are a number of different ways you can provide your input on what you'd like to be included, some of your concerns, questions, or ideas for alternatives to be considered. Today, at sign-in, you have the opportunity to sign up for oral comments, which we'll be moving into after this presentation. You also have the opportunity we have comment cards you can fill out at the table behind where Lauren's sitting back there, and you can throw them in the Lohala basket if you'd like those to be considered. We also have an online form that is open on our website, which is waimea400.com. And the online form, you can provide your comments, or you can upload a written letter or any other supporting information that you'd like us to include in the draft EIS. We also accept via mail, can be addressed to me, Malachi Krishak, or email. Does anyone have any questions about the EISPN or the comments? That's a great question. I think if you sign up for the oral comment section, you can come up and have it recorded. But his question was about the traffic. Yeah, so that will be addressed in the EIS as we do our traffic impact analysis with Fair and Peers. So we're going to be looking at the impacts from the affordable housing project. We'll be looking at the traffic impacts from the other uses on the Waimea 400 site, so the agriculture, sports complex, even the recreational uses and associated with the wetland restoration and other things. So that will definitely be something that is a major consideration and impact addressed in the draft EIS.
So, sorry. We also can't hear you. So the problem is we have to have all of this recorded. So absolutely, if you want to sign up to come up and ask all of that so we can actually get it on the record. And then if you haven't signed up, we're going to call. So I think one way or another, we would love to catch everything you're saying. And I don't know that we're catching all of it. And it really needs to be. So if you wanted to sign up, we would love to have you come up on the mic so we can hear you.
And that's a perfect segue into this next portion, which is the oral comment period. So, Uncle, if you want to sign up, you can jump on the mic. Okay, thank you. So we will be moving into oral comment period if there aren't any other questions related just specifically to the EISPN and how to provide comments otherwise. I'm going to pass it off to Tricia. And if you do want to provide some oral comments and didn't have a chance to sign up, you can go back to the table in the back and you can get a number.
Okay, aloha everybody. Breeze is going to try to catch Uncle because we do want to hear what he had to say. I am Tricia Keholani Watson Sproat. So if you remember, he's Matt Sproat, so we are married, but that's really irrelevant to this moment. It's always relevant, my husband's saying. So this is really your meeting. So I do think a lot of people come thinking it's a back and forth, but the 343 process, chapter 343, really has this phase, which is scoping. So it is about gathering input and questions and comments from you folks, from the community, so they can all be studied over the next few months. And then the answers to anything you ask this evening will all be in the draft EIS. So that's kind of how the process works. Totally understand. It can sometimes be frustrating, but it really is about giving you folks a forum and time to ask, to say, I think you should study traffic more, or these are my particular concerns. How are people going to exit? What's your ingress, egress? Those are the sorts of things we absolutely want to hear tonight. And then Malachi is going to go back and work with the contractors and get all those answers and that data for you. So that's kind of how it works. As you can see here, we typically start with 2 minutes. But there's not a ton of you, so that would be a little ridiculous to hold you to 2 minutes when only a few of you signed up so far. So how many people signed up so far? You can just, are we still at 3? Sorry, okay. So I'm just going to call you up by the numbers that you have on your sticker. I know some of you said maybe you were thinking about it. Amy, I think you were first. You're giving me do you want to come up and give comments? Okay, so Amy relinquishes to number 2. So who is number 2? Yes, you gonna come up? Okay. Number 3. Okay. You're coming up, right? Right on. Okay. So just talk into the corded mic, please. And state your name, please.
I'm talking to nobody. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I don't like people. Aloha mai kako, o wauno o Kaua Kia Mata, a generational member of the West Kauai community. And I've been a part of this process, I think, since the county acquired the Waimea 400. I stand here today because I feel like, sorry, I have a cracky voice because I'm losing my voice, but I stand here today because I think it's very important that we go through this process with as much community input as possible. I also feel that in the past, I've asked the county to put these things out to social media and then also go to our homes here, because the uncle that was here, he comes to all the meetings, but it's hard because the residents here are like kupuna, and not much of them get out, but only in the Garden Island, which that too is a thing of the past. So I think a lot of that face-to-face is good for them. But ultimately, in talking about the Waimea 400, some of my concerns come around, like, is this place, this aina, and ahupua'a, moku, and all of those things ready and have the infrastructure to take on approximately 393 more single-family homes. Uncle talked about traffic, and he's right. There's a lot of traffic, and in lieu of what had happened last week with the tsunami evacuation, can we support those people? And can we ensure that they're safe? This is a wetland, so even though the evacuation map says that if you're here or right to the right at KVMH that you're safe, we know that you're not safe. There's a difference between, there's not much of a difference from here to there. And if we're going to restore wetland here, and there is a tsunami, all of that extra water is going to come back into, and it's probably going to ricochet right off of this mountain. So just things to think about. And then, a few more things is, you already answered what kind of ag lands we have. I just want to know, what is the final number on the purchase of a single family home here? Because I didn't come to the last meeting, but the meeting before that, as a teacher here on the island of Kauai, I couldn't even eventually qualify for that in like 2 or 3 years. So is it really affordable? And if this project isn't going to break ground to 2 or 3 more years, the affordability at the last meeting I came to was in the 687,000. I don't think that's affordable. And in 2 or 3 years, it's not going to be. And that's why you don't see families here, single families, new families here, because at the last meeting, a couple walked out because they can't afford it. So let's be sure that we keep, like the mayor said, West Kauai lands in West Kauai hands. And I think we need more community input, because 10 people from West Kauai, not even all from West Kauai, is all that we're catering to right now. So how can we do that? Mahalo.
So that was everybody who signed up. So if you didn't sign up, you can go again. If you have more, we will happily listen to. Sure. Here. I just had it to you. You have a baby in your hand.
Where can I find all of the community input? Like, is there an appendix? Is there somewhere I can go? When we did the West Kauai plan back in like 2018, 19 maybe, there's an appendix of all the people that attended. So is there a place that I can go to find all the comments from the community, written or oral?
Yeah.
Right. So for the affordable housing project that you said you attended some of the meetings for on the Waimea 400 housing website, they do have their, all their meeting information on that website. For the EIS, as part of this public comment, an oral comment period, we're actually going to have to list all of the comments that were received through this process, just for this process. But we do have a resources page that we're working on the website, and that's a great feedback. So we can include all of the previous reports, including the 2022 master plan report, the affordable housing reports, and any of the additional stuff.
Sorry, I don't know how many of you follow Brenton Awa, but he did post about, I think out in Haleiwa, they're trying to rezone ag land to urban development. And he made a statement, and he said, like, along the lines of, we are developing these lands for the people that can afford it. We're not actually developing it for the people that are from this place. It's not specific to that, but along those lines. So think about that when we're trying to rezone our lands, because if you ask me as a long-time West Kauai resident, my family is generational here, but it's the ag lands, in all honesty, that has saved us from development. So development, I don't think, is always necessary for the west side of Kauai. And not because I'm against it, but because look around, it's sustainable. Our people here either work in the schools. So either way, like, we're not dependent on development. And if you can guarantee me that the West Kauai families are going to be in these homes, then I'm all for it. But there's really no guarantee when we're using federal monies.
Mahalo. And just real quick, can we get her name? Can we just get your name, sis? Thanks.
Kua kia mata.
Okay. Mahalo. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody? Sure, because then that's... Okay, so I want to be clear. Perfect. That was exactly the slide I wanted. I like how you read my mind. So this is not your only opportunity to comment. The comment period for the scoping is open through August 22nd. So there's still lots of time. There are comment cards in the back. Feel free to take them with you. Additionally, so if you take a comment card, you can mail it in, and if you wanted to U.S. mail it in, you send it to Bowers and Kubota. You can send it to Malachi Krishok. Did I get that right? Awesome. 2153 North King Street, Suite 200, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96819-4554. So feel free to write them on the cards. The accepting authority is actually Troy Tanigawa's office. So that email address, if you want to send it direct to the county, is Tanigawa, TANIGAWA @kauai.gov. Then you can also send it to either Mike or Malachi, but the email address in the environmental notice is Mike's. So that's M. Nishimura, MNISHIMURA @BowersandKubota spelled out.com. Or you can take a picture of that QR code and then just access it from your phone. Also, there's an online comment form at Waimea400.com. So any one of those mechanisms, you can send in comments up to August 22nd, after which time the Bowers and Kubota team is going to go back to all of the consultants and technical support teams, and all of the comments they read, they take them all, they share them with the teams that do that work. So, sis, your question about affordability, all of that is going to go into it. Your questions about evacuation and public safety, and that absolutely will go in. Then all of the comments received are published as part of the draft EIS. So I recommend you also sign up for the updates. So when that comes out, that'll come directly to you, and then you can kind of see. And then there's a 45 comment day period after that. So if it doesn't answer your question to your satisfaction, you can absolutely comment again and sort of refine what you would want them to look at. And we're going to come talk to you, because if you'd like to be interviewed for the cultural impact assessment, we'd be happy to interview you so you can provide more input. But as your mayor said, this really is about this community, so we do want to thank all of you. We know it's been a long planning process for the community, so there's been a lot of meetings, but we do appreciate you making the time. Again, we really would love your comments. However, we take all the feedback very, very seriously. So whatever we can answer or further study that makes you feel better about this project and this process, particularly affordability. I hear you, and that's not an uncommon thing. We hear at those sorts of things. So we absolutely will take all of it back. So now that you've had a couple of minutes and I've blathered on, anybody else? Last call for coming up and giving oral comments. You want to? You inspired? Yes, you can. We'll come to you. Please just state your name.
My name is Verlene Kioma. My husband is a resident of born and raised Waimea. My question is, how are they going to accommodate all the kids? Look at our schools. It's tiny. And I work for this school, and I know it's tiny. Kekaha is more tiny, so how are they going to afford to put 400 plus kids in our schools?
That's a wonderful question. So definitely they will look at that and infrastructure and capacity of the school system here. So that's a great question. Anybody else? Amy, I'm looking at you. You changing your mind? No? No? Okay. Sister in the black, did you want to? Signed up number 2? No? No? Okay. Just going around, double checking. So again, okay, Amy, I love it. Come on. Come on up. It's going to be a great question. It's been nothing but A+ comments so far. I believe in you, Amy.
Can I just talk here? Hi, everybody. My name is Amy Finero. I just moved to town. I lived on Oahu and Maui for a while, but now I'm here and I care about the ocean. I'm excited about the wetland restoration project. But mainly I was thinking when you mentioned, I forgot what you said, 630,000, 680,000? That's unaffordable for sure. I mean, I'm from a place I never considered that I could ever afford a house, but I thought, what is affordable? Should we put it in the comments so people can be like, oh, well, in that case, maybe we can make that happen. I don't know. That's all.
I think absolutely. If you have input as to what would be affordable, feel free. No, don't take away your mic yet.
Oh.
Just maybe a comment on what your input on that would be.
Oh, I don't feel that I have the right to say that here. I don't know. I mean, I've been a renter since I was, in college. But, I don't know. My dad owns a mortgage company, but I haven't been listening. Sorry.
Okay. The going rate in Waimea is 700,000 plus. I would say the going rate here in Waimea is 700,000 plus, and that's probably for a dilapidated plantation home that needs restoration.
Right.
So, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm thinking of a family that maybe is brand new, maybe not even in a career. I mean, I come from a family that we're working. We have income. We have those things, and I don't feel like I could, pay that. And that's about like a $2,000 or $3,000. But it is a fee. Is it kind of like Hawaiian homes, right? They're not going to own. They're not going to own the land, right? So you're actually only paying for a home. So no land there. So, I mean, maybe you can cut the cost on that because you're kind of just renting the land or a spot.
Steve, we have a ton of time. We're like 15 minutes into this. You want to give some numbers? If you can. If not, I'm not going to put you on the spot, Steve. My husband's scolding me behind my ear. But just, and Steve is wonderful. I've worked with Steve for years, so he is great at his job. So maybe just a couple.
Yeah. So we totally hear you guys, the community's concerns as far as costs and what we sell it for. So to kind of just clarify, what we do or what we do have is when we do our single-family home sales, we do sell them leasehold, which basically, as Kua mentioned, the county retains ownership of the land and the improvements are basically sold to the home buyer. I can use our existing project, Lima Ola in Eleele, as an example of the costs associated with the single-family houses being developed over there right now. Just based on current costs, leasehold sales are in the high 400 to low 500,000s right now, depending on the square footage size of a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So that cost that's being sold right now is basically what it costs to build the house. The county has already put in all of the necessary infrastructure. That's $120,000 per lot that the county is already investing in the development of these single-family homes. If we were to sell it right now, fee simple, it would be in the $700,000 ranges. So this leasehold program that we have is the only program that we've come across that where we can sell it at somewhat of, even though I know for some people 400, high 400s or low 500,000s is still not affordable, especially with the interest rates the way they are now. So there we are continually looking at different ways that we can make it even more affordable than what we are doing right now. And we want to hear all of the community's feedback as what we can do to make it more affordable for people. So, is that?
Perfect. That was perfect. Okay. Okay. Going once. Going twice. Okay. So we're going to close the public comment. Again, you guys have till August 22nd. We will definitely take everything back. I thought you were telling me something. I highly recommend you take comment cards with you, take down the address, take a photo on your phone, and then you have till August 22nd. But we really do appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Please take food. There's so much delicious Chinese food back there. And thank you very much, and everybody get home safely. Thank you.